morning, everyone. It's Tom Bronson, and welcome to You Are Not a Unicorn. This is part of the Maximize Business Value webinar series, a series for business owners that for educational purposes for business owners who are passionate about building long-term sustainable value in their businesses. This is, by the way, episode of or volume number 7 in this series. So far, we've attacked things that you can do in finance operations, human resources, marketing, sales, and building the ultimate transition team. If you missed any of those prior webinars, you can check out the replays for any of them on our YouTube channel, Maximize Business Value. By the way, if you go to our channel, click on the subscribe button. If you're not already done so, you'll be notified anytime that we add new content, and we do that really on a weekly basis. But today, we're going to talk about business value. I'd be happy to take your questions as we go along. If you think of anything, just put them in the chat, and we'll grab them when we get to the end of the presentation. As I start my presentations many times, I can't go any differently here in the unicorn presentation. Do you know the value of your business? And are you confident in the value of the business? And if you do know, when you think about the value of your business, is this what it makes you feel like? Sipping margaritas on the beach in Mexico? Or does it make you feel a little bit like this? Or are you like a lot of business owners that just can't think about it right now? Look, talking with business owners every day, I truly understand that there is a genuine lack of information and knowledge around business value. Any entrepreneur worth their salt can tell you their pricing model like the back of their hand, and they can provide details on every line of their P&L. But can they do the very same thing regarding their business value? And yet, it is vital that owners know and really understand what supports and drives business value. Now, when we started promoting this webinar about a month ago, some of you reached out to me with a snapshot, a photoshopped picture of your face on a unicorn, proclaiming that you were, in fact, a big, beautiful unicorn. All kidding aside, a unicorn is a business that achieves $1 billion valuation, usually very rapidly. And just like unicorns, they are very rare and are not the norm. So some prior unicorns that you may be familiar with that became unicorns before they went public, Airbnb or Facebook or Google. But there are a lot of other current ones too, like Canva at $15 billion, SpaceX at $74 billion, Stripe at $95 billion, Instacart at $39 billion, Udemy at $3.2 billion, and Houzz at $4 billion. The total number of unicorns worldwide is only 804, with a total cumulative valuation of $2.6 trillion. So are you a unicorn? The fact of the matter is that there is a 0.00006% chance that every startup will achieve a unicorn status. Look, every year, approximately 615,000 new businesses are started. So on average, using the percentage, there is one unicorn startup every 3 years. Now, by the way, that is the same chance you have of dying in a fireworks accident. Actually, the odds are even better of being caught in a tsunami or being killed by an asteroid, which are 1 in 500,000. So now I understand that no one here really thinks that they're a unicorn. They could be, but they don't think that they are. But do you have a realistic understanding of your business value? Most business owners have no idea what their business is really worth And to me, that is very dangerous. What most business owners do is guess at the value of their business, and typically they assign some number that is almost always tied to what I need to retire. Now, I'm not going to ask for a show of hands here, but are any of you guilty of one or more of these valuation methods? The cost of misjudging value has far reaching implications. It outweighs all the careful attention applied to profit margins or EBITDA. Business value needs to receive the same level of attention as profit margins, revenue growth, and EBITDA. Owners need to know what their business is worth today and understand what supports and drives that value. Too many times, owner confidence or apathy causes neglect and ignorance, creating an unrealistic expectation of business value. Because unrealistic expectations is the number one reason that businesses fail when they reach the finish line of a transaction. Let me give you an example of that. Three shareholders pour their blood, sweat, and tears into a new business. For years, they work on this business. A buyer shows up and comes in and offers them $2 million for a 51% stake in the company. Happy dance. It was all worth it. All our hard work is finally paying off. Finally, a way to take some chips off the table, right? Well, maybe. Let's look a little deeper. Is that a fair price to hand over control of the company? During the startup and growth phases of the business, two of the shareholders loaned the business $1 million. And is that reflected in the purchase price? In essence, a $2 million offer for 51% values the company at roughly $4 million. But if you net out the $1 million that has been loaned from the shareholders, the value to the shareholders is now $3 million. But if that $2 million is used to pay off the $1 million loan, then the net value to each shareholder is really a third of the remaining $1 million for control of the company. So suddenly, it doesn't appear to be such a great deal. Now, if the business owners had been diligent about obtaining and updating a valuation, their negotiating position would improve dramatically, and they would be on the same page regarding the value of the business. I'm going to imagine in this scenario that there were a lot of arguments between the shareholders regarding whether or not this was a good deal. And there are arguments on both sides of that table. So the first action that I want you to take today is know the facts, get a valuation. You owe it to yourself, you owe it to your future, you owe it to the business to understand the value of your business. Now, secondly, do you know what drives your business value? Most business owners don't know what drives their value. They guess at it. They don't take the time to really understand the value drivers in their industry so that they can work on those value drivers and work on their business value. What you do today has tremendous implications on your business value down the road. One of the principles of value creation is that the more time you have, the more value you can create. Do you know what aspects of your business create value and what aspects of your business take away from value? Most business owners think about all they think about is our earnings. Yet, indeed, earnings is a critical component of maximizing business value, but owners typically, or buyers, will typically look at everything. The better prepared you are on the front end, the less likely the buyer will raise red flags later in the process. And by red flag, that's code word for what buyers use to reduce or retrade their offer, and it chips away at your business value. Now, sophisticated buyers won't believe short-term improvements in value. They'll need to have a solid track record, usually in the form of a trailing 12 months, or TTM, we call it in the biz, to demonstrate that what you've done to improve the value of the business is sustainable and not some short-term blip on the radar. Now, sometimes that takes several years until the things that you do to improve value actually arrive on the financial statements. As I said earlier, sometimes building value just takes time. So take the time now to determine what drivers impact your business value. And a great place to start is our recent blog post, which is called Value Creation Revenue, or VCR. That was a guest post by our good friend, David Weibel. And so he really understands value creation revenue, or VCR, and a great place to start and understand that is on that blog post. Kim, I don't know, would you put that link to that blog post in the chat, please? Thank you, ma'am. So here's an example. I knew a business owner who was trying to raise capital to fund growth for her business. Now, raising capital can be an intense exercise for anybody who's done it. You know that's true. The negotiations can be challenging, and investors, once they invest, will hold the business owner accountable if the reality strays from the picture that you painted. Now, overconfidence leads to raising capital on promises of a return that is just simply not sustainable. But underselling the business leads to raising extremely expensive funds in order to fund the growth. Future investors don't like either one of these scenarios, and they avoid them like the plague. So understanding business value allows business owners to present a realistic picture and a sustainable picture to bankers and investors, and it puts you in the best position to succeed when you want to raise capital. So then action number 2 is understand what drives the business value. Go read that blog post by David Weibel and understand what creates value in terms of revenue, understand the other drivers that might create value in your business. Finally, let's kind of explore a transition plan or an exit strategy. Most business owners don't have an exit strategy, and in my opinion, that is a dangerous road to drive down. Without an exit strategy, sellers can walk into a bad deal, which will leave them feeling unfulfilled, both personally and monetarily. The majority of business owners don't have a full understanding of how business transitions or business transactions work. There is a significant knowledge gap for most business owners. And most owners really think that their business will be easy to sell in a year or less, even though most of them haven't had a formal valuation to understand the value of the business, or they proceed without a strategic transition strategy. Now, that is a risky play with your life's work and your future, don't you think? Frankly, we believe that exit strategy is just good business strategy. A good exit strategy identifies what you can do today to improve long-term sustainable value in your business. Planning early gives you the time to take the actions that you need. It gives you a runway. And if you don't plan early, it may be too late to take some of the actions that could have extracted a far better value for the business when the time is right to sell. Now, even if you're not looking to sell your business anytime soon, making improvements to your business now not only improves the value of your asset, it also provides a solid business practice. You need a plan. The cost of inaction, or COI, as we like to call it, may mean that you end up rushing to close or to sell your business and get far less than you put into it. This is not good. It's not fair, but unfortunately, it is the reality for many business transactions. Here's another scenario that demonstrates not only the importance of understanding business value, but also examining it regularly. Here's how it can play out. There are 5 shareholders that hold equal shares in a company. Now, they did a valuation, and the valuation was 5 years ago, and it valued the business at $5 million, which is equal shareholders, $1 million per shareholder. Now, the owners got insurance as part of a buy-sell arrangement. I highly recommend anybody who's got partners have a buy-sell arrangement. 2 of the shareholders tragically pass away in an automobile accident. So the other 3 shareholders are now in a position where they need to buy the deceased shares from their estate according to their buy-sell agreement. Unfortunately, that agreement hasn't been updated for 5 years. The company value is now closer to $50 million, which is $10 million per shareholder. But the insurance, the way it was written, only pays out $5 million. So with $5 million in hand, but 2 $10 million shareholders to buy out, the remaining shareholders now have to scramble to find another $15 million to buy out the shares. And if they can't, an unknown external buyer may swoop in and purchase the shares at a discount and own 40% of the business, in addition to losing 2 key people in that business. So reviewing business value and updating plans and policies annually can prevent this risk to business owners. It is so simple to do, and it limits business owners' exposure. So action number 3 is take the time to define your ideal desired outcome and design your exit strategy. Put it down on paper, review it annually, make certain that you're following the right steps, and update those documents as you need. That's a mouthful for step 3. Sorry about that. The simple fact is that 83% of attempted business transactions fail to reach the finish line. That's right, only 17% of attempted transactions are successful. We call those folks the 17% Club. In case you've missed it, we're doing a series right now on the Maximize Business Value podcast called Tales from the 17% Club. We're in the middle of that series right now with 4 of them already posted. And actually 1 or 2 of our participants on those are on this call today. We have 3 more episodes in the can, and they'll be released each Monday for the next 3 weeks. They are real life stories from business owners who are in the 17% Club. They actually transitioned their business. We go into the good, the bad, and the ugly of how they got there. So I invite you to go check that out on our website. I think Kim just dropped a link to that in the chat. Bottom line, at Mastery Partners, we want you to be part of the 17% Club. Now, not clearly understanding business value prevents business owners from achieving a successful exit, and we are out to fix that, which is why we developed what we call the Transition Readiness Assessment, or TRA. Now, this is a tool that is the compilation of everything I've learned about business value over the course of my career and over 100 business transactions as either the buyer or the seller. And believe you me, I've made every possible mistake that you can think of. I dare you to find something that I haven't done wrong. So we've learned from our mistakes, and now we teach others. The TRA is a 500-point assessment tool that examines the business from end to end. Now, don't get bogged down in 500 points. We can do this assessment in less than 1 day. We score each answer to the question we ask, and that rolls into a readiness score, not only for the whole business, but by department as well. And it tells you how ready your business is to transition, as if a transition were going to happen tomorrow. Think of it as a current snapshot of your business as it is today. Now, it helps business owners know what they're doing right, what they might be doing wrong, what needs to be tweaked or minor improvements. It unmasks value in all areas of the business. And at the end of the TRA, you'll receive an opinion of enterprise value, so you know exactly what value you're working with now and how to move forward. This takes care, by the way, of action items number 1 and 2 that we talked about earlier. So now what? This is a lot of information, and we've gone through. I want you to take a few minutes and write down the things that you need to do right now to improve the value of your business. Feel free to put them in the chat. If you don't have a valuation, put down there that you need to get one, right? Put them in the chat, and we'll share them and hold you accountable to them. So in addition, there are 3 things that we think that you can do to make sure that you reach the 17% club. You see, I want to interview you on my next podcast series of the 17% Club. So here are 3 things that I think that you can do today. Join our 5-day TRA challenge. That's really why we're holding this webinar today. Next week, we're kicking off a 5-day TRA value challenge. It starts on Monday. And because you're attending this webinar today, you're automatically signed up to receive the 5-day challenge emails starting on Monday. Very short video clips and little actions that you can take. You can do these things in 5 minutes or less. 5 days next week. I invite you to join that challenge. In that challenge, you'll learn to maximize business value, take massive action to maximize the value of your business, and learn how to be a 17%er. If you are ready to take the next step and you haven't had a valuation and you need to have one done and you're ready to go ahead and secure a transition readiness assessment, you can do that right now on our website. For the first time, we're allowing folks to do that right on our website. If you're ready, go to our website and click on your TRA and let's get one scheduled. Remember, one of the value principles that we talked about today is that what you do today has tremendous implications on your business value down the road. And it takes time to see that on your financials. So go to masterypartners.com and click one of the Start Your TRA Here buttons. There's several of them throughout, and you can scroll to the bottom and see one for sure. Now, if you just don't have the bandwidth to take on the 5-day challenge next week, I hear you. Believe me, I've sat in your shoes, I haven't sat in your shoes. I've sat in your seat and worn your shoes for a long time. I understand. Another option might be for you to consider joining the Maximize Business Value Mastery class. In the class, participants work through our transition readiness assessment together. We build a leadership toolbox, and we participate in a peer group community with other business owners just like you for 1 year. We teach business owners our success formula and the things that you need to do to take your business to the next level. Our next class starts in October. And by the way, if you need a little accountability, and who doesn't, and a little focused time to execute what you learn, then this one's for you. Our current class members absolutely rave about the class, and they tell us each month how their business is improving just from the lessons that they're learning in the class. Feel free to go to our website, masterypartners.com, and scroll down and sign up. Spots are limited. We limit this class size to 6 business owners or less so that we can get a more one-on-one value opportunity. So sign up early. And by the way, if you sign up for the TRA challenge or you participate in the TRA challenge, we'll give you a 40% discount on the class that's starting in October. At Mastery Partners, we are all about equipping business owners to maximize business value so you can transition your business on your terms. And we know that there are lots of people that can help you improve the value of your business. And frankly, we recommend a lot of them to you, and any number of them can be great for your business. But we hope that you will consider partnering with us, because we're all about driving ridiculous results, driving them, owning them, achieving them. We're all about educating and helping business owners. Frankly, that's what gets me out of bed every morning. And we're all about creating massive value for business owners, just like I have in my businesses. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can I get me some of that? Well, you can get some of it for free. As I mentioned earlier, and it's worth saying again, we host a weekly podcast that comes out every Monday. The current series, Tales from the 17% Club, are real stories from business owners who have successfully transitioned their business. But that is, we're up to episode 77, I think will be released in a week or two. Well, there are 77 real lessons that you can learn in your business that will improve value. So I invite you to go to our podcast, wherever you find podcasts, and just search for Maximize Business Value, or you can ask Alexa to play it for you. She'd be happy to do that. She's a good friend of mine. So, and by the way, if I said that too loud, she might actually start playing it. So you can also get a copy of my book, Maximize Business Value, on Amazon, and feel free to schedule a call directly with me right on the masterypartners.com website. So before I leave and before we take some questions, I want to leave you with two thoughts. Number one, even though you're probably not a unicorn, I do believe that everyone who wants it and follows the value principles can be in the 17% club. And number two, I want you to start now to think about the value of your business. What are those drivers? And immediately start maximizing business value.